December 15th, 2012, where Ramey's doing some rehab over at Cedarbrook. And action.
I'd just like to tell you a little bit about all the other activities besides when I was farming, what all the other activities were. And it started out as when I was younger as a 4-H club member, and I had all kinds of 4-H projects, sweet corn, pigs, and everything. And besides that, I had the baby beef club, and in 1940, I had the grand champion baby beef at the Pennsylvania Farm Show. Then another activity that I had was I used to help work on the milk truck, hauling the milk in from the farm into the dairy. And so that was another activity.
Which dairy?
Lehigh Valley Dairy. And then all through life, of course, I was a Grange member. And to be the Grange it's a little bit like a lodge for the farmers. And there are 4 degrees as a Grange member. And then the 5th degree is a community, couple of Granges together in the same county. And then the 6th degree is state Grange, and the 7th degree is national Grange. And I had all those certificates in my life. And
So you had the National Grange certificate?
yes, yeah.
But what year did you get that?
Oh, I don't remember that. It must be way back. Then another big project that I was included in was the Lehigh County Soil and Water Conservation District. I was head of that for a number of years. And of course then there's also, besides the Lehigh County organization, there's a state organization. And 1 year I served as the president of the state association. And then there's also a national association, and I was a chairman of the youth committee for the national committee. So we used to go to different what do you call them, meetings all over the United States. So it was really interesting.
Which was the part when you went to State College? What was that for?
That was when I'd go to the state college that's where we met for the soil conservation.
What was your question, Peggy?
Oh, I remember one time you went out to Texas somewhere to a ranch.
Oh, well, yeah. Every year somebody, or the state committee, I guess it is, picks a county winner for the soil conservation work that they did during that year. And then they pick a farmer that did the most work, and then the farmer and I went out to, not Texas, to Arizona.
Oh, it was Arizona.
Arizona for a week's vacation. And there they took you, of course, when you got there, they had a cowboy outfit sitting on the bed for you, and you put your cowboy outfit on. And that was in February, and the funny part of that is we got out there, and we thought, boy, it's nice and warm out here. We just walked around in our shirt sleeves, but the farmers that were there going out in the field plowing or something like that, they sat there with ear flaps on and overcoats. So, that was another one of those things. Then another one of the big things was the Grunzahl Lodge. I was on the board of the Grunzahl Lodge was number one in the state, and so I was on the board for 20 years, and then I dropped out of that. I got too much work.
Did you ever meet Puxatawny Phil?
No, I never did.
No?
We always talk about it. And let's see. Then Lions Club. I was included in the Lions Club for years. I think I got a 20-year certificate for that too. And I was president for, well, you only get to be president 1 year, and then so that was another activity. I was a fire policeman for a long time. We belonged to the West Coastville Fire Company, and whenever there was an accident or whenever there's a fire or anything like that, then the fire police got called out to do the traffic control, and so that was another big project that I had, and I enjoyed that a lot. Meals on Wheels after I retired. Then I did Meals on Wheels. That's taking the meals out to the members, and I did that as a member of the AARP, but and then later on for myself. And I did get I have a clock somewhere with the 2,000-hour
Wow.
presentation for while I was doing Meals on Wheels.
It's on top of the TV.
Yeah, that's right. It's on top of the TV.
2,000 volunteer hours?
Yes. And
Lower McCungie Seniors.
oh yeah, that was one of my last projects, the Lower McCungie Seniors. I was president of that, and I was a member, I don't know how many years anymore that I was a member of that. And then, of course, when I married Kimberly, why, then we didn't go anymore. So that was one. And then I ended up, after farming, I ended up going to Agway to work, and that is a farm organization too that served the farmers with materials. And where I worked, it was actually a John Deere. We had a John Deere franchise, and basically that's what I was working in, is selling the John Deere, mostly lawn and garden tractors. But I did end up being the manager for 2 years, and then I retired. I retired I started working there in 1966. And then I retired in 1982 from Agway. And then I went back to work a couple of summers because I liked it there. And then management changed and stuff, and then it wasn't no fun anymore to work there. And then I didn't go anymore, and so then I retired fully. Then, of course, Grace and I, for years, we took a lot of trips, all over, bus trips, and to the World's Fair, and all the different places, all over, different things to see. And that was about the other thing is, when I was with the soil conservation, and I was in the state and the national. I traveled all over. I was up in Seattle and up down in Mississippi and all over the United States. We'd have a meeting somewhere once a year, and then we'd go there to have the meeting in different states. And we did take a lot of bus trips, and we took we took 2 cruises. One was with Carol. We took 2 cruises to Bermuda. The first cruise was because we were one of the biggest sales people for John Deere, that they send us down to Bermuda for a vacation. And so I don't know, it's
When'd you get into school bus driving?
Well, that I did in the beginning while I was on the farm too. I did some school bus riding,
Make believe I'm not here.
and I did that. Then for a number of years I had quit, and then they got a bigger bus, a 52 passenger school bus. Then they asked me to come back and drive some again, and well, that was the school bus part. It was to the East Penn School District. So,
How about the square dance calling? When did you get into that?
well, that was all my life. In the 4-H already, we'd have people from Penn State come to some of our meetings and teach us how to square dance. And then Wilbur was the square dance. He did square dance calling.
Your brother.
And yeah, and then I learned little by little, and then I had a record player, and mostly I did a lot of it with the record player, but also I had different bands that I'd go out with to do the square dance calling, and that was quite some fun. I taught them because I had the record player. I went to a lot of places, church organizations, and all that different things, to teach them how to square dance, and well, that was quite an experience too.
I remember playing with a microphone and the
Yeah,
microphone stand.
Right. Yeah, we used to set up the whole amp system and play records in the back of the house
Yeah.
for parties. My sister especially.
Pop, how long did you keep working at the fair?
Oh, that's right. I worked at the fair for, must have been for years too. There was a fellow by the name of Edgar Fink. He used to be superintendent of the Allentown Fair, and with in the agricultural part. And then he got too old to be, and then they hired me to be the superintendent, and I was superintendent possibly for 10, 12 years. And of course all I did was just that we got the whole agricultural part of it set up, and I had to order the ribbons and stuff like that, and see that I had enough workers to cover the.
Did that include not only the stuff that was inside the Grange Hall, but also the livestock stuff and
No,
like
it
the
wasn't-
tractors and
No, the livestock and that stuff, it was just what was in the agricultural building.
agriculture building, the
Yeah.
big hall.
That
Yeah.
was a
Yeah.
big hall there, and that's where the flowers, all the vegetables,
Mhm.
and that
Cookies.
stuff.
Crafts
Yeah, crafts.
and all that. Yeah.
So what I remember about the fair in that building was the potato candy,
Oh,
the Niagara chair people, and the Vitamix guy.
oh, yeah, there used to be, besides the products, then there was around the outside of the exhibits why there were business people, like Christmas tree salesmen, Vitamix and all that stuff.
Now, do you have any idea how much that Vitamix machine cost that I talked you into buying?
Oh no, I didn't even remember that I
Yeah.
bought one.
Yeah, you did. Well, you probably paid for it, but you may not remember buying it. Because we just bought a Vitamix machine for almost $400.
Oh boy, that's.
But I think whenever that was, and it was probably in the late 50s, early 60s,
Yeah,
I
well-
think, maybe it cost $50, which was a whole lot of money for a blender.
And then I guess, well, getting down to about church, I guess. We started out as kids. There used to be a Sunday school in East Texas, and this was just a Sunday school. And Mom and all us kids went to Sunday school up there for years and years and years. And because then I hardly ever went to church. And then as the Sunday school got older and littler, it sort of disbanded, and then I started going to Grace Lutheran Church in McCunchy. And I served on the what do you call it, committee? The
Like a deacons, board of deacons, or
oh man, it's not called that.
it's not the deacons in the Lutheran Church.
Yeah,
Elders?
no.
No.
But anyhow, it doesn't matter. But it was, I was head of the board and then I served on that till, well, I went through 4 different ministers in that time. And then when they needed another minister, and then when that other minister come, then I says, no, it's time to get off of the board. Now today, they have it that you can only serve 2 years or something like that, then you must get off and then you can get on again. But at that time, they didn't have nothing. And so
You were the treasurer for a while.
then after I wasn't on the board anymore, then I was the treasurer for 12 years. And that was quite a job, but it was fun doing it. And so we had a lot of good times at church. And
Yeah, I think you were the treasurer probably sometime in the 80s.
yeah, possibly that
Yeah,
would be about
because I
right.
can remember being a boy visiting, and
Yeah.
you were there counting at the table, and
Yeah, counting.
yeah.
And of course, we have to tell you about Donald. He went at church when Donald was baptized. That was by Reverend Knuckle baptized him, and we had the stained glass windows right aside of there, and there was a hole in the stained glass window. And as Donald was being baptized, there's a feather from a dove came flying down and landed in the baptismal. That got in the history books of Grace Lutheran Church.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I guess I maybe covered most of it. So
Hat jemand eine Frage? Any questions?
I'll say thanks a lot for everything.
Well, you want to get a picture of the daughter needs to get into the
Yeah, I got
picture
a picture before of Peggy,
Here we are.
and I'll turn this around and take the videographer, and
There you go.
Donald. Is that a good shot of myself?
You cut off the top of your head, but
There,
that's better.
there,
Okay,
that's
now,
better.
Down
All
a
right.
little, down a little. There we
There.
go.
All
Okay.
right.
And then
And
back here,
Raymond and Kimberly.
my schnookums. In the background, we have some of the balloons that Carol brought up for Thanksgiving. Get well, Dad. Get well, Grandpa, and get well, schnookums. So we're all rooting for you, Bud.
Well,
We're
Pop,
rooting for you, Pop.
appreciate you sharing those stories with us.
Yeah.
Well, let's see how it turned out.